Customary System Part 2 is all about the word problems on the inside of your notes packet, so let's get started. One of the largest watermelons ever grown weighed about 1/4 of a ton. How many pounds did the watermelon weigh? Because it's a word problem, I want to use my nosy, so I'm going to highlight my question first, and then either underline or circle any important information. And the only number I see here is 1/4 or 1/4 of a ton, so I underline that. And I need to convert this to pounds. So we're doing a conversion, tons to pounds. Well, I need to pick a strategy. And because I was given a fraction, we're going to use a unit rate. So this is 1/4 of a ton. And because it's a unit rate, we're going to multiply 1/4 by however many pounds there are in 1 ton. Well, there are 2,000 pounds for every 1 ton. So my tons will cancel out. Now we just have pounds, and I'm going to multiply my fractions. So why don't you pause to solve and then press play to check. When we convert 1/4 of a ton to pounds, we get 500 pounds. Clara is training for a 5K by jogging 1.2 or 1 2/10 miles every other day. How many feet does she jog every other day? Well, we want to know how many feet she jogs, so I'm going to underline or highlight that question. And then I'm going to underline any important information. And you know what? There's something confusing in this question. There's a 5K. We don't need that number. So if that number is confusing to you, cross it out. All right? So let's look. She's training for a race by jogging 1.2 miles every other day. And we want to convert that to feet. So we are converting miles to feet. Well, the number I was given is a decimal, so we need to pick our strategy. And because it's a decimal, the easiest thing to do would be to use a unit rate. Now, 1 2/10 as a decimal can be written as 1 2/10 as a mixed number. And I want to convert this into an improper fraction so that I can use a unit rate to solve. Well, as an improper fraction, this is 12/10. So this is 12/10 of a mile. So now I'm going to take that ratio, that fraction, and I'm going to multiply it by the unit rate, which is 5,280 feet over 1 mile, because there are 5,280 feet in every 1 mile. Well, the miles are going to cancel out. So now our only unit is feet, and now all we have to do is solve. So why don't you pause to multiply your fractions and then press play to check. So 1 2/10 miles is equivalent to 6,336 feet. Let's try one final problem. A 2-pound steak can be cut into 4 fillets of equal weight. How many ounces is each fillet? Explain using a proportion. Well, first, before I do anything else, I want to highlight my question. How many ounces is each fillet? And I want to underline or circle important information. Well, I think 2 pounds is important, and I think 4 fillets is important, and I definitely think equal weight is important because that's a key word that tells me what I need to do. And then here it says explain using a proportion. So we really don't even have to try very hard to think of what strategy we're going to use. We're told we're using a proportion. So I have 2 pounds. My steak is 2 pounds. I want to know how many ounces is in the steak before I can figure out how many ounces each of the 4 fillets is. So 2 pounds is, I don't know how many ounces, so we're going to put X ounces. And then because it's a proportion, I'm going to set it up to be equal to another ratio. This time it's going to be however many pounds there are to however many ounces there are in 1 pound. So 1 pound is 16 ounces. There are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So I've set up my proportion, and now I just need to solve. So why don't you pause the video to solve and press play to check. So I have solved how many ounces the entire steak weighs. It weighs 32 ounces, but that's not what I was asked. I was asked how many ounces is each fillet. Well, that's where we go back to how many fillets there were. 4 fillets of equal weight. What does that mean? Equal weight means I need to divide. So I'm going to do 32 ounces divided by 4. So 4 equal pieces. And 32 divided by 4 equals 8. So each fillet will weigh 8 ounces. Don't forget to answer your summary questions in complete sentences, and we'll work on it in class tomorrow. Good job.